So women of color, it's very interesting. I was recently watching this documentary talking about the wage gap and the wealth gap. And it spoke highly of the difference of the amounts of money that Caucasian women make in comparison to men. And what I noticed, there was a lack of representation for women of color. Some of the issues that women of color face specifically, I think, in corporate America or in the workplace is things like the wage gap, being underpaid, not promoted as much, sometimes having our judgment questioned, not having advocates or people inside that is displaying our work. And a lot of times we're underutilized, just flat out racism that I believe exists in a lot of companies. Take a moment and just kind of think through, hey, do we always hire this type of person? Can we decide to kind of look for a more diverse and inclusive perspective? Will this person have a unique set of skills? Because I think it's a win-win. It is a win-win when more women of color are promoted. Then you think socially, it's kind of like a catch-22 where we have to artfully present ourselves as non-threatening. We don't want to appear to be the angry black woman, or a lot of times we're the only one that is in the rooms or at the tables, and then it's the pressure of our perspective and opinion speaking for the masses. Or again, really that aggression part is the comments about the hair, or the, oh, I didn't know you did that, or like, yeah, there are a lot of brilliant, beautiful black women that are capable and competent and that could do these things too. So a lot of the things that we face, again, that's discrimination, biases, microaggression, being underpaid, and a lot of times we're not really advocated for. We're not promoted. So a couple strategies. We can't change the color of our skin, right? We can do a variety of different things to make sure that we're heard. Okay, so this thing about having a seat at the table. I think a seat at the table is great, but I also like to encourage people to think through the mindset of them being on the menu and to serve a side of you, your authentic, unapologetic you. I think serving you speaks to diversity and its finest. And if you are a woman of color that has a seat at the table or that's in an executive position, then it's very important to advocate and to look out for fellow other women of color, because we know how difficult it can be to get the promotions and to garner the ears of the necessary, valuable people that can help you kind of move up that corporate ladder. Another strategy for women of color, ask for more money. Flat out ask. Like, there should never be a time where you are not counter offering whatever the offer is. Do some research. Figure out what's the going rate for that particular role or position. Think through the company, the department, wherever you are. What can you offer? How can you be a solution to a need? And use it as your support as you're asking for money. Now, don't go asking for money if you are a subpar worker in many ways. You want to work over and above, and that's even like another stigma with women of color, that we have to work 2 times as hard. But that's just kind of the way it is. But you want to put your best foot forward in anything that you do. So make sure that you are on top of your stuff. You do have the awesome performance reviews, that you're timely, that you're thorough, and you have a pretty clean track record. And you're also, again, assessing the problem areas, and you're providing a solution to those problem areas, and you're asking for more money. Another thing that you can do, if you feel like your boss may not be advocating for you, or you're the last to know something, intentionally ask what's coming down the pipeline. Go shadow different departments. Try to get your skill set up as much as possible. Gain different skills, and then as you're gaining those different skills, or maybe even consider getting a certification or something else to just kind of solidify and beef up your body of work. And then that also supports you with the ask for more money. But ask what's down the pipeline. Insert yourself into conversations as best as you can. Find out who the key players are within your company or organization, or that's tied into where you want to go, and then reach out to them directly. It never hurts. Another thing I like to encourage people to kind of think through and to do is to think about your bigger picture and where you are literally in your workspace. You should be transitioning out. Like, you should constantly want to grow and evolve. So think about the bigger picture. what does this position look like for me in 2 years? What skills can I gain and maximize? Do I want to make a pivot? Think through all these things, and how could you make your employer work for you? I mean, it's just business. So as much as you're there to get the check, you need to make sure you're there learning the skill and getting what you can out of your employer. And think about it this way: a lot of us have very niche and specific skills that we're contributing on the day-to-day to different employers. What if we took all of those skills and then we started working for ourselves? Or what if that was our side hustle? Or what if we freelance into a different arena? Or what if we allowed our job to pay for a certification, or we learned a different skill and then we turned around and use that to make that work for us? So that is the mindset that you should have while you're there. And also thinking about this is you're passing through. This is temporary. You should constantly be evolving to the next area in your life, professionally and personally. So those are a couple strategies that I like to kind of encourage women of color to think through, and to also make sure that you are checking stuff as it happened. It's very important to speak up and to disrupt. You know, you don't have to take anything that's like an off comment or a joke. No, check that right then and right there, because you are setting the boundary for the offender to know that this is inappropriate, and I don't tolerate it, and I don't have to tolerate it. So speak up, disrupt, find your mentor. If you're in position, mentor someone else. Find out, always know what's going down on the pipeline, and get proactive as best as you can. Make sure that you're growing professionally. Take different courses. Sometimes there's a budget that will pay for different things. Make sure that you're shadowing another department, getting your skills up as best you can to grow personally and professionally. And again, like I mentioned, always ask for more, and be the best representation of yourself that you can be.